Hi, everyone. It's time we talk about teens again. I'll share a message I received this week about a family that's wondering how to unschool. So instead of answering her and sending her some resources privately, I thought I'd put it in the podcast. If we haven't met or this is your first time listening, I'm Sue Patterson, and this is the Unschooling Mom to Mom podcast. Each week, I offer you 5 to 10 minutes of an unschooling pep talk, something to help you see that your connection with your kid matters most, something that can show you how it's okay to do something unconventional, more than okay, actually a really good idea. My own unschooled, now grown kids are 33, 31, and 28. They all took different paths, and they were and are prepared for their young adult lives. They got into colleges, conservatories, trade schools, owned homes and businesses, started families, all the things. And they had awesome childhoods. And we didn't duplicate school, not even in the teen years. I want to show you how to do this. After 25 years in this community, I have so many resources to help you. Whether you want to dip your toes in the water or dive on in, I'll put links in the show notes for you. Oh, and my new unschooler course is discounted this month because this is the month many of us are trying to decide what to do. It's only $99. You can save $50. And I promise it will save you more money. You don't have to buy those expensive curriculum. Take the course and you'll see what I mean. So I was halfway through writing other podcasts, one about parental peer pressure and another about that guilty feeling we have when our kids are off playing and we're puttering around wondering what we should be doing. But you'll have to tune into the future weeks to get these. I talk to parents every day and I hear what's worrying them. And I've been there. I know what this feels like. So more on those in August. I'm also doing an annual Not Back to School free webinar next month, so watch for details on that. Phew, lots going on. And if we're going to make it with this 10-minute goal, let's get back to talking about teens. So I'm going to dive into the specifics that this person wrote because I know a lot of people are in the exact same boat. The mom asked, how do you start unschooling kids who don't like any form of schooling? I have a 16-year-old who hates everything school-related. I want to unschool all my school-age kids, 16, 14, 11, and 8. But I can't get out of the public school mindset and away from worrying that they won't be doing anything at all. Please help. So I can feel the panic, can't you? We can all relate to her. The fear is coming because you're just starting out on this journey. You don't really have any idea what it will look like. You don't know what obstacles you'll actually face. So your brain kicks in and wants you to find the safe road. And sometimes that means scaring the heck out of you so that you get back in line. That fearful part of your brain is getting way too much of a say over your decision making. And one of the ways to wrestle the power away from it is to remind yourself of a few things. You don't really know how your kids will respond to this kind of partnership with you. They've never really gotten to experience it. Also, decisions are not in stone. You can try some things, see how they work, and then make the adjustments. You're still having that thinking of, I have to run everything or it will all fall apart, right? And it might if you just walked away and said, good luck, you can do it. Sue said so. But that's not what you'll be doing at all. This is a way more connected way to parent. And then from an educational standpoint, you're still thinking in school terms. You've already identified that teacher-driven approach, instead of recognizing that real life brings all the subjects with it in some form or fashion. It's up to us to notice when that's happening. And when we do, we can breathe a little easier. Our own anxiety about it all can decrease a little. Okay, back to that 16-year-old that hates school. Kind of understandable, right? It's not a super friendly kid environment. And they've been at it for 10 years. That's a lot of time to be told to be quiet or wait until the teacher lets them speak, and all the kudos for those who conform and some pretty heavy doses of shame and humiliation for those who don't. Since this is the Unschooling Mom to Mom podcast, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But kids who resist all that pressure and coercion are the independent thinkers of the world. And that's a good thing. But they may also have to do some healing from all of that. That's usually where the anger comes from. The system leaves very little room for an individual to grow and blossom. But that's not the case anymore. You're pulling them out of there. So I tell your teen, we're not duplicating school. No subjects, no tests, no grades. We're going to dive into our lives and learn what we need as we go. Let's live like it's Saturday or summertime forever, because that's pretty much what unschooling is about. I can feel all the yeah, but comments out there. Stay with me. Because one of the big reasons that kids reject the school approach is that they don't get to have any say in what's going on at all. No one listens to them. No one says, that's a good idea. Let's try it out. Or I hadn't thought of it that way. School is more of a one right answer kind of place. Bells ring and it's time to move on. Doesn't matter if you're into it or not. Time to move to the next thing. Ready or not, here we come. So, your new approach is all about listening and observing and moving at a pace that is so much slower. There's no rush, no desperate need to cover things for the test because there's no finish line. And anything they want to know is at their fingertips on Google or YouTube. They no longer have to wait for someone to pour the knowledge into them. They can move in the direction of their interests and learn when they get to some part they need more information or more skill, just like we do as adults, just like we did when they were little and hadn't gone off to school yet. No one quizzed them about walking or talking or learning to eat. They wanted the end result, so they kept trying until they got it. And that's how unschooling works. That's why it's successful. Humans want to explore, but they want to choose the topics. You don't learn something because that's what all 31-year-olds are learning. When you help kids explore their interests, one thing really will lead to another. So let's get into what your role as an unschooling parent is. Because while they're doing all of their exploring, you're watching them. You're noticing how they like to move around in their day. You're seeing the rhythm that fits them right now. Lots of teens are actually sleep deprived. From a growth and development standpoint, they need more sleep. So it's okay if that's what's happening a lot. They'll move out of that stage. You're having conversations about real life, not how we're going to cover math. You're talking about things happening in your house, the groceries, the meals, the pets, what you and they are seeing on the news, what they're watching online. You're available to talk with them when they come to you. Yes, that's often later at night when the day has begun to fade away. So if you need to nap a little earlier in the day so that you can do this, that's okay too. And you're reading about unschooling and deschooling and how it works. A lot of your question is really about deschooling. So you'll definitely want to dive into all the resources I have for that. You're going to see how you learn best too. If you love to read, the PDFs may be perfect. If you're more of a listener, podcasts like this are the way to go. I have a lot about getting comfortable with unschooling over on the podcast list. Or if you're more visual, you can tune into the Unschooling Mom to Mom YouTube videos. Or maybe you're more of a people person and you need to surround yourself with other parents figuring out how to unschool. You can join the membership group. That would be super helpful if you feel like you keep falling back into the schoolish way of thinking. I can help you. The whole community can. Another awesome tool to use is the brainstorming guide. It helps you shift your brain to all the options that are out there that aren't all about academics. Lots of families use it as a planning guide with their kids. Things like what community activities are available that interest y'all. Festivals, restaurants, bowling, golfing, theater, community service, hikes. What things around the house are interesting. What movies would be fun to watch? What foods do you want to fix or recipes you want to try? Or maybe you'll binge on various Netflix or Hulu series together. Maybe it's trying new self-care ideas or ways to decrease stress. This guide will walk you through how to shift away from curriculum-driven approaches. And if you're worried about what their lives will look like without school, I interviewed 75 young people who shared specifics about it all in my book, Homeschooled Teens. And it's linked at the Unschooling Mom to Mom website too, and also at Amazon. So this has been really reassuring to hear directly from these kids who live this lifestyle. So those are good starting places if you have teens, right? If they're not happy in school and they aren't learning much, and what they are learning there, it's not that great. So why duplicate it just because it's familiar? I have other podcasts about teens. Number 41 and number 21 focuses on college readiness because that's a lot of people's concern at the beginning too. And I can always hop on a coaching call with you, even just for 30 minutes to get some questions answered and help you stop panicking. So if you have teens resisting school, I'll be blunt. Get them out of there. Do something different with them. They will be so much better off. And I think that's a good stopping place. So I'll talk with you again next week. Happy unschooling.